What's going on, everybody?
Yo.
Welcome back to the Doghouse TV.
Yes,
it's a kid, Manny Pierre, Shutter King's Photography. Check me out on all social media outlets. And of course, I got my dogs with me.
You already know what it is, man. It's your boy GK Titter. Follow me on social media, GK Films Official.
Okay.
What up? It's Chima.
And it's Chima. Alright, as usual, we got a dope episode for y'all this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whenever you happen to be watching this video. What y'all want to talk about tonight?
What's popping right now?
So you know what's popping right now, right?
Yeah.
We got
the George Floyd.
the
case.
George Floyd trial. What y'all feel about that?
The way I feel about it is, we're gonna be disappointed again.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath. I don't know why we get so excited over this stuff. This stuff is like literally painted against us. The system is against us, and it just makes us so excited, and we get our hopes up about something that we know is gonna happen. That police officer, it's called a George Floyd case, first of all, when it's really that police officer that's on trial.
Right?
All right, that's one.
Derek Chauvin.
You know, so just on a media level, you know, it looks bad. Second thing is, his mother goes up there and it doesn't even help his case, talking about his drug use and everything, and that's the main argument that the opposing side has. Is the fact that he was a drug addict, which doesn't really mean anything because
Don't mean a thing.
because that police officer was still wrong. But we've seen this too many times, and I'm not holding my breath. You know, I think that police officer is going to get suspended, maybe get a fine, and we're going to be mad again and marching all over again. That's how I feel about it.
All right. What you think, G?
Man, I hate how they got George Floyd on trial. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's what's going on. That's what's going on.
It's like Chima said. The optics don't look good right now for us. And you know, we want to see justice. We want to see this guy and everybody who was involved. But you know, we live in America, man. I really don't. I don't have a lot of words to say.
Okay.
Right? Because guess what? It wasn't the first. Sadly, say it's not gonna be the last. And you know, this case has the opportunity to set the precedence moving forward. But you know, as I'm looking up, you know, a lot of stuff on the case, and from what I've seen, I haven't been able to even watch a lot of the. I haven't been able to watch a lot of the testimonies and stuff like that because it's like it's sad, man. It really is.
Indeed. So me personally, I haven't seen any of the trial, like period. Not 1 second of it because, you know, I kind of feel the same way. Excuse me. I think that you know, we've seen this story play out time and time again. And you know, I don't want to get my hopes up thinking that we're gonna have a different outcome this time. I do think that the circumstances are a little different though. You know, so
Circumstances how?
as far as alright, so we brought up the fact that he had drugs in the system. Okay. The toxicology report, you know, say he got drugs in the system, whatever. Okay. But then you also had the chief of the homicide unit that testified against Derek Chauvin, saying that regardless, like the amount of force that he used was unnecessary.
Unnecessary,
right? So you know, so there's a lot of damaging, you know, facts out there that, you know, that's gonna be hard for the defense to navigate around. You know, let's put it like that.
You know, it's crazy because the police officers, their job is not to kill the suspect. You know what I'm saying? Your job is to apprehend, is to uphold the law, not be the law.
Right.
And what happens is you got a lot of people who just watch too many John Wayne movies. You know what I'm saying? Like they feel like, oh, I'm the law and blah blah blah, or the police is the law and da 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 da. And when they was talking about defunding police, oh well, this is lawlessness. How the police are not the law. We got to kill that whole perception that the police officer has the right to be the judge, jury, and executioner right there. Now, I'm not anti-police. We most definitely need them. But like the way they just handle stuff, like it's crazy. It's crazy.
Right, and I think that a phrase you just mentioned, you said defunding the police. I think that in itself is a very misunderstood concept. When people say defund the police, a lot of people think, oh, let's get rid of all police officers and let's just shut down the whole, law enforcement system. And that's not what defund the police means. What defund the police means is to reallocate. That's what I was looking for. To reallocate some of those funds to other programs. So that these police officers are not, or these police departments are not getting all of these millions of dollars when in those same communities you don't even have mental health facilities. You don't have adequate healthcare facilities. You don't have alternatives to help try to curb some of that crime. So that's what defunding the police is. It's not saying get rid of all police departments. That's not what defunding the police means.
Because I'm like, the people going so hard on the police, you're going to need them eventually. And you're going to need them to do their jobs correctly. Because if your family member needs a police officer to be at a vehicular accident or something like that, if you say get rid of the police, then what's gonna happen?
But nobody's trying to get rid of the police.
We're not trying to get rid of the police,
right? But I'm just saying there are some for those extreme who want to jump on the bandwagon, like because the way you explained it, Manny, I don't think people fully understand that's what that really means. You know what I mean? I think people need to educate themselves because even a regular person, they say defund the police. Yo, we don't need no police. It's like, wait a minute now. That's not what that means.
Well, so if I may, as a criminal justice major, one of the things that we learned about a lot about was different types of policing, and one of the things that I believe is a huge problem, especially in low income communities, African American communities, just low income communities, period, is there's not enough community policing, right? And what happens is you take. So look, police officers for the most part are underpaid. Period. Right. And so what happens is that you have people who may work in a certain police officers that may work in a certain area, but live somewhere else. Right. So they're not really familiar with community, with that particular community. I don't know if y'all remember a couple years ago, there was a couple of viral videos of this one police officer, and he almost knew everybody in the community. Right. He'd be like walking around and playing with the little kids and everything. What you doing? You need to get back home. Right. And I think that if we had more community policing, but policing is a very hard job. It's a very underpaid job and a very stressful job. So I understand it. But the problem that we have, one of the major problems, is there's not enough community policing. So if you don't know the community that you're patrolling, then you don't know, oh man, that's just Pookie. You know what I'm saying? Or Pookie always tripping. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that people are looking for, or that we are looking for a pass. You know what I mean? But at the same time, when you don't know, oh, that's Pookie, and Pookie got this issue going on, or that's so-and-so's son, or that's so-and-so, blah, 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 then it puts you at alarm when the Chauvins of the world is stopping the Floyds, the Floyds of the world. You know what I mean? And so I think we should really focus on community policing. We really should. There's a lot of, especially in New York, right? There's a lot of police officers who kind of live in Jersey. Right. And travel over, and they work in New York because the pay is better. You know what I mean? So they take that ride. But
think about where that pay is going. So if you got officers that live in Jersey going to New York to work in New York, when they get paid, where's that money going to? Back where they live, back to Jersey, right? So even so, and that's another part when they say defund the police, because we have, like you mentioned, a lot of these officers don't live in the communities that they serve. So that's even more funds that are taken out of that community and going in other places. So now the things that the community needs. A lot of these social services that the community needs, and youth services and mental health services and all of that. There's no money for that because money's going everywhere except for in that community.
Where did the George Floyd thing happen?
Minnesota.
Right, Minnesota.
Okay, but keep going. I was just asking.
Yeah, so that was it. So a phrase I like to use is that I am cautiously optimistic that things will be different in this trial. I am cautiously optimistic. Will I be disappointed if things don't go how we want to? Of course I'm going to be disappointed. Because it's just another just reinforces the notion that Black lives really do not matter. If he's able to walk off scot-free, but again, things are different in this case. So it came out not too long ago that the defense actually offered a plea deal for this, and Officer Chauvin was actually willing to do 10 years, well, a little bit more than 10 years in jail, on a plea that if he pleaded guilty to third-degree murder. So him being willing to plead, that might mean that he knows that it's not gonna be something that is just cut and dry.
Right.
But do we want to plead? Like,
I mean,
but the prosecution they rejected it. They said, "No, we're gonna go to trial."
We're going to trial,
and so that's where we at now.
So we'll just keep our eyes open. You know what I'm saying? Keep our ear to the.
And of course, I'm sorry. And of course, his family did just win that $27 million civil suit also.
Okay.
So a lot of people think that it's one or the other. If you either gonna get the money or get justice. So. The family already won a civil suit, so people thinking, well, that's your compensation. That's your okay. Well, here you go. Now we're even. So,
and let me say this too in response to that, because no amount of money can replace somebody's life.
Indeed.
I think people need to be reminded that if I lose my mother, you can give me $500 billion. My mom lost her life, you know what I mean?
Indeed.
She's not coming back. So I think we need to stop the narrative that money solves like emotional and community issues, you know what I mean? Because George Floyd being gone, that's a family member that's gone for life. And the narrative that's out there from the opposing side is that, well, their family is good. They got the money. And it's like, wait a minute. But, that's not going to bring them back to life.
I don't want my M's that way.
Indeed. And also, people still got to be held accountable for their actions.
Right.
I mean, this officer, he went beyond the scope of his authority, and he murdered somebody. He needs to be held accountable for that. No amount of money can compensate for that. He needs to be held accountable. Bottom line.
Indeed.
It is what it is. We're going to see.
Yeah.
Into the joint. So, well, on to the next, on to the next one, on to the next, on to the next one. What else we got?